Welcome to After Dark at the Fixed Ops Roundtable, featuring Cara Delane and Ted Ings. This episode is brought to you by BG Products, partners beyond products. And now for your hosts, Ted Ings and Cara Delane.
Welcome, everyone, to the Fixed Ops Roundtable After Dark. It's 2023, Ted.
It is 2023, Cara, and it's our first show of the year. The Wild West is coming up. I am ready for this show, just so you know. Now, I do not have the lighting tonight ready to go. As you know, that could be an issue with a white hat, right?
True.
However, I do have the cowboy hat ready to go for the segments that are coming up. We have two amazing featured guests tonight. We have Cindy Reynolds and Jeff Daniel, both great friends of the Fixed Ops community. Cindy and Jeff, welcome to the event.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thanks for having us.
All right, Cara, am I wearing it right or what? I told you.
You are.
Yeah, am I okay? All right.
Cowboy now, Ted.
All right. So, big event coming up, Cara. Tell us, when is that event happening?
It is happening this month, January 23rd, 24th, 25th, and 26th. Our first ever 4-day virtual event happening in just a few weeks, guys. So if you haven't got your complimentary tickets yet, grab them now at fixedopsroundtable.com.
All right. So that is, Cara, let's see, that's only 3 weeks from now, the 23rd, right?
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it's almost here.
Yeah. So that is going to be a big event. And you see Ed Roberts, our good friend Tully Williams is on there. Tony Owens has been calling us the Fab Four. Now we are live tonight, right?
We are live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So hopefully everybody's sharing the video and commenting down below for our guests.
And to start 2023 off right, I want to give a shout out to our exclusive sponsor for the After Dark show. It is BG Products, partners beyond products. They do a whole lot for our industry. I don't know if everybody's aware, but BG has more than 50% of the U.S. dealers' market share. That's enviable, Cara. I don't think any company can claim anything even close to that, let alone double digits. So congratulations to BG. A lot of big news ahead this month from BG and from others. And Jeff, excited to have you on the event as well.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to kick off 2023, kind of where 2022 left off, which was a great year mixed in with, we had some hiccups, but 2023, I think, is going to be a good year for everybody.
Do you know this fellow, Roger Conant, who's in the chat tonight?
I hope to meet him if he's down in Dallas for NEDA later in January. So I should be there. But Roger and I go back. We converse quite a bit on a hot topic of his and something I've grasped and ran with, and that's having a lot of females in my workforce that have absolutely kicked butt. And so Roger and I, we converse a lot about that topic.
So Cindy, Roger Conant is a big proponent, huge proponent, Cara, as you know, of women in retail automotive, and has championed a lot of that. And I don't think you know Roger, because I talked to him before the show, and I believe he will probably reach out to you after the show to talk a little about a lot of the things that he's working on. So, and Cindy, you're no stranger to retail as well.
No, I'm not. I actually, early in my career, I joined a friend of mine after college that owned a dealership, and I was there for over 11 years. We pioneered a lot of things. We pioneered one price model. We pioneered an ordering system, selling nationwide, and 4-day work week in service for service advisors and technicians. So it was a lot of fun. I got to design it. I got to implement it. And so my experience in the industry is, it was really a lot of fun, but it's because I was valued and respected. So I think that there's a lot to learn from what motivates and drives people.
And you know what? That respect is a huge part of it, right? It's not all about money and compensation. People need to be valued and, be part of and have a belonging. I think that's very important, Cindy. What do you say?
I absolutely think so. I think for most people, when you really get down to it, if you ask them, there's a reason why they're motivated to do whatever they do. And I was allowed to do what worked for me. I was trusted. The drive was there, the ability to pull things together and make it work. So, I really am very passionate about women being in automotive, but for the right reasons, and not just to be a warm body or to fill a spot, but because they actually bring what the role is needing to have a collection of people that are bringing, an excellent customer experience.
So, Jeff, Kalamazoo, Michigan, give us a weather report today.
Last week Mother Nature tried to kill us and bury us in snow and 40 below wind chill. Tomorrow it's going to be 58 or 59. All the snow's gone. It's melted. Today you couldn't see 5 feet in front of you with the fog, but it is Michigan. We'll have all 4 seasons tomorrow, starting at 7 throughout the day. So
now, for those of us who don't know, what franchises do you have at Maple Hill?
Subaru, we've got Subaru and the big building. That's our breadwinner. Audi and Volkswagen, Hyundai, Genesis, and Volvo. So we cover the bases, all 100% import. We haven't been as affected by some of the goings on in the industry because we cover so much of the world. We've got Germany, we've got European products, we've got South Korean, we've got Japanese, we've got American. So we've had inventory issues, but it's been better than I feel sorry. I've driven past a couple of dealerships when I was out driving around this weekend, and they've got 4 cars on their lot. Yeah, I'm down substantially, but nowhere near that level. We're at 136% objective for the year in sales. That was reduced, obviously, with the industry, the market share drop-offs, but some great brands, some variety. When I saw the opportunity, when I started there just shy of 7 years ago, it was a male-dominated drive with 70% of the people coming in the door were female. And you could see the intimidation factor. It was everybody looking down on them because I'm the advisor that knows everything. So we've made some serious dents and changes to that.
And Jeff, how did you do that? Because you've got I believe a predominantly female workforce. I could be wrong on that, but I do know you've been on the Roundtable. You've hosted a number of panels with female technicians who are in your employ. You talked about the 4-day work week. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, my main drive, Subaru drive, which is 100 cars a day go through that drive. My manager is female. All of my advisors are female. My express staff are female. Just because they were the best people in the roles. It wasn't, gee, I'm going to be the guy that's going to pound their chest and say, I want to have 100% female staff. They listen. They're not required to diagnose anything. So why not give them that opportunity? 4 of them are mothers with less than 10-year-olds. If they need time with the kids, we give them time with the kids. It has been nowhere near as difficult as what the industry makes it out to be. But it starts with one, and you pay them the same way you pay your male colleagues. You give them the opportunities to grow. You give them the opportunities to expand and move within the dealership. I've got a female parts director. She's been there 36 years. Our manager in our parts department is now female, just because she knows her stuff. It's not because she was, again, the chosen one. She's dedicated, and they do come in with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. So they take what they're doing a lot more seriously. Moms are organized. Think about it. That typically you think of the mom and, she's a house mother. Okay, you've got soccer, you've got 3 different lunches. You pack the wrong lunch for the child that hates a tuna fish sandwich, and you're scrambling and running around. What do we do all day long in the service drive? We scramble and run around, and we adapt and overcome. And that's what an advisor has to do.
Well, and I think Liza Borges said it best, that all the stats, all the data points show to that there's an extremely high ROI when your staff matches the customer. And in this case, and in most cases, it's the female customer. Cindy, what's been your, actually, Cindy, and looking back, it's amazing that it's taken this long and still to have this type of conversation, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's something like a few years ago, I decided to circle back because it's like, oh, it's catching up to where I was years ago. And, I love what Jeff is sharing because I think what's important is that our industry has to understand, again, we just want to really create an excellent customer experience. However, I do believe that when women are in roles that fits for them, and I'm not talking about a role that seems to be a female type role, I'm talking about that fits, how they behave and what motivates that and why they behave that way. And we find that they're going to really, Jeff said it, like they're going to come in and they will give you the best they have because they know they have more to prove. And so you can just get such an excellent experience from them. And I also agree with him. It's one of the things I was thinking when you let me know we were going to talk about women in automotive is they are organized. Like they do have an entire household they have to organize typically, whether they're single or whether they have children, whether they're empty nesters, it doesn't matter. What I think doesn't work for a lot of women working in a dealership is it's very chaotic. There's no organization, there's little process, there's little flow. There's not give me the time to get to know this customer so that the next time they come in, a female is probably going to be more likely to remember that person's name or something about them that they connect. I think the key is they're going to find a lot of common ground with everyone they talk with. And that's where the relationships get built, is from that common ground. And they just put them at ease more. So I love everything Jeff said, along with they're not there to diagnose what's wrong with the car. They're there to create a customer experience, to listen. I think a lot of times women have that ability to say back what they think you're saying. And so they're making sure they hear what the issue is. They hear what you're needing. And then they go deeper with questions. They probe sometimes more into understanding. And a lot of it is they're trying to understand. So I think that Jeff covered it well. I'm so excited to hear he has so many females. The industry has a long way to go, but we're on our way. That's what's exciting.
And Kara's just chomping at the bit to get in on this conversation because I think she's agreeing with just about everything that you're saying, Cindy. Kara, what do you say?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with both of you guys, and lucky for me, I've only been in the industry for about 3.5 years or so, and it's nice here at our dealerships that I work at because we have 40% of our staff is women, and 50% of our service advisors are women. Half of them are women, and I see the women succeeding more than you would ever dream, especially young women in automotive. And I think that door finally got opened for women. And it's our job, like I said the other day, to show all of these young ladies, and no matter their age, that there is opportunity in automotive, like Cindy was saying, not just in specific roles like selling cars or whatever the stereotype may be. There's so many different opportunities in this industry for every kind of person. And I think that's what makes this industry such a great one.
Yeah, we were talking last week. It's the best kept secret, right?
Yes.
Working in retail automotive. Jeff, I think we need to be intentional about it, though, from the outset. What do you say?
Well, you have to start with one. You start with somebody that maybe has a little experience, maybe has absolutely none. Maybe it's the person at the restaurant that did a slam dunk on taking care of your burnt whatever meal that you were eating and bent over backwards to make sure you were satisfied. And you give that person a business card, and they're the person that walks in the door. And as part of the interview process, they don't have to know anything. I want you to be able to engage a customer, again, recite back, because they don't know. There's no assume rule. The assume rule with the old advisors was, oh, I know what that is because there's a TSB for it. You need an XYZ 101. No, let them do their job, take the information, relay it to the technician that's trained to diagnose it, and then all you do is relay messages back and forth. You bring technology into the fray of things to simplify it. Videos, True Video, GoMoto, which we installed again as a way of freeing up their time because it does take them a little bit longer to explain certain things. They may have to ask more questions. They're not going to know that answer immediately. So they have to buy a little bit more time, but they're much more adept at buying time than the guy that gets it wrong and ends up paying for it at the end of the day, saying, "Oh yeah, well, it wasn't that, so it must be this." And you start the ball again. You start the process again. You do have to have a strong process that's, when they walk in the door, they've got an idea of exactly what they should be doing. We start our advisors in the BDC. In fact, my newest advisor came out of the BDC, worked, she was getting her degree. She started answering phones, went to our BDC, left the industry after she got her degree, got into her career field, worked there for 2 months and said, heck with this. I enjoyed what I did working with people better than what my 4-year degree is in. I'm coming back to work if you guys will have me. So we promoted somebody within to a retiring person, brought her back in. We'll sign her up for some NADA training later this spring. They come in and they don't know how. So you have to show them how. And then they want to know why. And then if you can teach them why and show them why you need to do it a certain way, you don't just tell them, you show them, you explain it, you give them the details, and let them run with it. Don't stand over their shoulder. They're going to make mistakes. Every person in our dealership makes mistakes. You just have to treat them, with the respect that they deserve. They're in a tough environment. I mean, 40% of the advisors today don't last 2 years. Other than this new girl, I don't have one under 2 years. And none of my advisors right now, well, one is slightly over 40 years old. The rest of them are young, and all of them, all except one, have kids.
Wow.
Robert Miggs commenting, and of course, Carter Myers, Robert, and Happy New Year to you and the team there. I follow all your posts every day, Robert. Robert, what is today? Day 100 and something. You're on the morning workouts now, but you're led by a great woman operator there in Liza. I mentioned her a little bit earlier tonight as well. Jeff, you also were on a panel recently. You're very proactive. You're not afraid to, take some chances and make some changes. You were on that 4-day work week panel recently. Talk to us about that, because you've done some novel things with the work week for store-wide, not just in any one particular area. And you had a lot of people writing down notes based on some of the things that you were saying.
It's, the 4-day work week it's an environment that everybody says, oh, it's great for sales. No, it's actually better for the fixed ops. If you have the room and the facility that you can accommodate the extra people. And that's the difficulty, is getting the right teamwork of people together to where you're here Monday through whatever, and you're here the rest of the week. It works much better with a 6-day work week than 5, maybe. I've heard people say it doesn't work with a 7-day work week. Everything will work if it's planned out and everybody's in agreement. And it can't be management comes down and says, starting tomorrow, we're going to do this. You get the team together and you say, okay, throw some ammunition. What's going to be bad about this? What's going to be great about this? Who's going to take advantage? Who's going to run with it? Who doesn't want to work? There are some folks that would rather work 5-day work weeks and make as much money as they can. So what do? Do you force it on them and say, no, you're only here 4 days, and they start looking, differently for a job? The successful ones are very open about it, are very, I think that's part of our issue with getting some of the staffing back up to speed. It's a tough business, 45, 50-hour work weeks for a woman with 2 kids, a single mom that you're saying, if you interview them and tell them, oh, it's 8 to 5, 5 days a week, your nose should grow through the screen, because that isn't our business. And you have to be upfront with them when you engage them right at the interview process. You onboard them and say, this is what we hope. This is where we'd like to see. 6 months later, you make changes if you need to.
Cindy, those long work weeks, I mean, as far as I can remember, that's been the car business, right? And, you're almost feeling guilty, if you don't work 12 hours a day. I mean, how do we turn that around and attract the right talent? Because, maybe, Jeff, in our day, right? I mean, we put up with it, but Cindy, today, not so much, right? You're not gonna see people wanting to work those kind of hours.
No, I put up with it as well. And so it's really one of those things where there's going to have to be more intention on how that's going to be handled. I think one of the things that we miss is we forget that we have all of these people that work inside a dealership that have, great thoughts, great information. We should be asking. Like, we have to draw them in. We have to get them involved in the process, because if you do, then they're going to take more ownership of it. And they're going to, if their ideas don't work, it just helps them learn. It helps them learn there is a different way. Maybe we can look at this, but you have to involve people. I mean, you mentioned it a moment ago, Ted, about you can't just have management walk in and say, we're making the change today. I mean, you've got to involve your people. There's different types of people. We all know salespeople operate differently than your service advisor typically. Okay. They're wired differently. They think differently. They talk differently. They even walk slower sometimes. I mean, it's just that they're just faster on the sales side typically, and not as fast on that side. But that's what you want, because you need them to focus on so many things. But it also means that the fixed ops side is the side that people are more wired, that they don't like change.
Yeah.
And so you have to draw them in and get their ideas and get their input and get their feedback, and then help them own that, so that you can't do it overnight. It's just so much better if you make something happen over a period of time. And, one of the things I'll say is that, when we did that, what we found is that it solved a lot of convenience problems for females. If you had a single female that lived in a city nearby but didn't have a ride, now we have ride share, but still, if it's a pretty far distance, it's much easier if they can come in before work and after work and handle everything on their own.
Yeah.
So it solves a lot of issues for people in a lot of different ways.
Jeffrey's got a good point in the chat. Happy New Year, Jeff. That a lot of folks have left retail and gone to the other side, to the vendor side, because of those hours and schedules. And Kara, I want to ask you, you've experienced both. You've experienced, the shorter work week, and you've experienced the very long work week. Talk to us a little bit about your experiences and maybe some of the pros and cons, and what's needed in our industry.
Yeah, so a few months back, here at our dealerships at Hinson Brand, we tried the 4-day work week. Our operating partner, Eric Barbosa, he got wind around the industry that people were trying this and seeing great success with it. And he thought, what a better time than now to give this a shot after the pandemic, the economy changing. And we do have a hard time recruiting people out here because we're in a town of about 4,000 people. The closest big city is about an hour away. And so we were like, how do we attract great talent? What can we give them that other dealerships surrounding us don't have? And that was time. And so we did give it a shot, and we all were in agreement that, it's a trial run. We'll do it for about 90 days and see how it goes. And we were shocked with the result that we saw, because Jeff is right. The technicians were thriving, and we saw them working together more than we ever have. They were producing more. Where we lacked production was the first month we had great success. The second month in, people got a little comfortable in variables. And what we were seeing was we weren't staffed up correctly to make it work right now. And we were having a hard time recruiting people that were going to stay long term, and we couldn't keep it up any longer, not having us staffed up like we should be. So we ended up pulling it and changed our hours back. But it was interesting. Some people really loved it and other people didn't. And then we had a discussion about giving that as an option, because we didn't force it on them. You said, hey, we have this 4-day work week. We're extending the hours, which you already are working. Even though we close at 6, you're staying till 8. And if you choose to work your day off, you can. You don't have to stay home and not be here if there's customers here or whatever it may be. So we're not doing it anymore, but it was a really interesting study just to see how people were reacting to it. And some of the people that wanted it the worst ended up not liking it, which was interesting to me.
And Jeff, I think with your techs, you're also doing something novel. I believe it was you who was on that panel. In terms of hours, in terms of how they work. Am I correct? Or
Yes, they've done. We've switched things around with technicians. After COVID, we actually closed one day. We're working 9.5 hours less per week than we did pre-COVID, and we're doubling the numbers that we used to do in fixed and still holding our own in variable. So we're working smarter. We're working together as a group better. The technicians aren't quite as me all the time because they know they're training replacements. I've got mentors throughout the dealership that are training my express staff that are ready to move up. I have 3 female technicians in the store. So 10% of my staff, I've got 30 technicians between the 2 buildings, 10% are female. That's 10% more than most dealers have within 100 miles of me. Master technicians, Brittany's been on a panel before with
Brittany's great.
work week. If her kids are sick, guess what? She calls in and she's got to take care of her kids. We find a way to make that car not sit on a hoist. She's got people that she works with that she trusts. They come over and they jump in and they get the work done, and the customers don't notice anything. And that's what it has to be, is seamless, transparent, and good for everybody. It's not just good for the dealership. It's got to start with being good for the employees. Then it will be good for the dealership. Then it will be good for the customers. The customer experience is a big picture, but it starts with taking care of your staff.
Love it. Well, both Cindy and Jeff, Kara, are going to be on some panels at the upcoming Fixed Ops Roundtable, the Wild West. And we are going to be launching for the very first time, Michelle McLean, good evening and Happy New Year. Yes, we rise together, and thank you for all you do, Michelle, for the Wild West and for the Roundtable. We're very grateful to you. Michelle will be speaking as well. Cindy's on a panel on dealership service clinics, and it's something we've talked about for a long time, and many of us have done in the past, and a lot of that went away in the last 3 years, and they're coming back. So Cindy, I'm looking forward to that panel. You got a great lineup on that, and I'm looking forward to see how that all comes about. This is our first time on service clinics, so great stuff. And Jeff, you're on a panel. You mentioned that Go Moto kiosk. You just had that installed, right, at your dealership not long ago?
Yeah, we're 2.5 weeks in now, so no real learning curves yet, other than we locked keys up, had to figure out how to get them out because we forgot to put paperwork in there. That was a little bit of a phone call, but again, that's designed to take care of the customer better. We don't have to have staff stay as late if somebody's running late to pick up their car. We've got this. We're going to send you. All you do is you walk up and a barcode scans you. The drawer opens up. You get your keys and you go. By then they should have all their information before they get their keys. They should know how much the bill is. They should know what was done. That's the communication factor that Go Moto will make a big difference. 5 years ago, absolutely not. I loved what Don said. He said 85% of the people are using the check-in on the drive. I can see where that would be a big plus. It's still a people business, but if I'm waiting in line to check out at the grocery store, I don't want to wait in line to check out, getting an oil change on my car. And we've come to that point. Time is the only thing we sell.
And the twist on your panel is that we're talking about doing it all in the Spanish language on
Correct.
The kiosk. So that's the first time. And I believe on your panel as well, there are 3 Toyota dealerships in Texas, Kara, who are using the Go Moto kiosk with that 85% right up on the kiosk on the service drive. So we're all going to learn a whole lot about that. So upcoming roundtable, we've got Cindy Reynolds speaking at the event, and we've got Jeff Daniel here as well. And Kara, tell us one more time when that big event is coming up.
It's coming up January 23rd, 24th, 25th, and 26th. So you can get your complimentary tickets now at fixedopsroundtable.com.
And Kara, I got to remind you, for the event coming up, you're going to need to get a cowboy hat and wear that.
Okay, Ted. This is the first time we've seen you in one of these. How does it feel? How does it feel to be a cowboy, Ted, up north? I want to know, are there cowboys where you live?
I don't think so.
So
Maybe one Cara Delane, maybe just one. Okay. So
you.
me. All right. Me tonight, a cowboy. So we will leave it there. Cindy, thank you so much for all you do.
Thank
for our
you.
industry. And thank you for being here tonight. Jeff Daniel, on behalf of the Fixed Ops community, thank you as well.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Cindy. I can't wait to see you again on the roundtable. And hopefully everybody had a great New Year's, and we will see all of you all 2023 starting this coming Wednesday at 8 p.m.